Gareth, another trophy to add to the collection. It's becoming a real habit, this.
No, it's obviously great to keep adding to the collection. Yeah, very difficult game today, but yeah, we got the job done. We got another trophy, and yeah, we move on.
You looked the sharper side for the first 70 minutes or so. I mean, it was hot and humid night, hard work as well, but you had the edge, it seems.
Yeah, I think we played well. We controlled the game very well. I think it helps that we've been training in 38-degree heat back in Madrid, so it helps a little bit, but no, I thought we played very well, especially the first 60 minutes, and yeah, controlled the game and deserved to win.
Does this send out a little message that this team's not resting on its laurels, you're going to push on?
Yeah, definitely. We want to keep winning as much as we can, and every game we go into, we still have that hunger and desire, and yeah, we'll keep working to win.
I know you're going to say to me, I don't ever pay any attention to speculation, but you know there's been lots of it this week. Has anything changed recently? Your plans are here with Madrid.
Yeah, I'm just concentrating on my football. I'm not listening to anything. I don't read anything, so obviously I get told bits and bobs, but no, I'm enjoying my football here. I'm playing as much as I can, winning trophies, so that's all I'm concentrating on.
We can see you're fit and raring to go, but there's no indication from within Real Madrid that anything's changed on their part either.
No, not that I know of. I haven't had any of those conversations. So, no, as I said, I'm just concentrating on my football. I'm trying to get my fitness up as high as I can after pretty much not playing fully for about 8-9 months. So, yeah, for me, I'm just concentrating on getting fit and getting match ready.
It's so fantastic that two clubs are fighting for you like that. Have a good season. Real Madrid still the team to beat.
Thank you. Cheers.
They've done it again. Real Madrid, serial winners, pick up yet another trophy under Zinedine Zidane. There are the celebrations. Didn't take them long either to change into their traditional white shirts. No surprise. And there is a trophy being held aloft by Sergio Ramos. That man's had a few things to concern him recently, but a big smile on Ronaldo's face tonight, even though it was just an 8-minute cameo. Congratulations, Real Madrid. Positives and negatives tonight for Manchester United, and we'll hope to hear from Jose Mourinho before too long about how this has affected his thinking ahead of West Ham. Let's talk about some positives then. When Jose sits down on the flight home this evening, what are the reasons for him to be positive after tonight?
Probably the last 20 minutes, I think. As I said before, the first hour, first 65, 70 minutes, they were outplayed really against we know it's a top team, but they stayed in the game. That was Fellaini was a handful really. Pogba had a good chance, Lukaku had a good chance apart from his goal. Rashford was a real threat when he came on. So I think he'd be happy with the way they stuck at the game and, you know, ran Madrid close the last 20 minutes really. Other than that, you have to remember what you're playing against here. You're playing against the best team in the world. We've said that 3 or 4 times tonight. They won't come up against anything like that in the Premier League this year. So I think it's encouraging. I think if you're looking at the team for Sunday, I think he'll probably go with the team that finished rather than the team that started.
I think so. Bit more pace, bit more movement.
Bit more pace, bit more physicality as well from Fellaini when he came on. Say Rashford was a lot more of a handful than Lingard was. But as we said from last season, what has to be different this year, big moments, they have to score goals, they have to take the chances. Rashford's chance, he has to score that, you know, when it comes to the proper games.
Do you think he'll start Fellaini on Sunday?
I think there's a chance, yeah. I thought Herrera was pretty quiet tonight. I think
why not?
He could come into the team. He was a real handful when he came on.
I thought there was plenty of positives tonight for Manchester United because, as Scholes rightly said, for 70 minutes they were the second best team by far. Yet they always stay in the game. They're never out of a game, and once they get a goal back, they're right into it again. They're not going to play the likes of this team This is the barometer of the best in Europe, and they've shown that for the last 2 teams. And Madrid have dismantled teams all across Europe and in their own league. The fact that United ran them really close, and to a certain extent, Madrid not hanging on, that's the wrong word, but you know, it was back to the wall at times. Man United had chances. I think that's loads of positives to take out of it. You know, Madrid and West Ham at Old Trafford shouldn't be a patch on what they face tonight if you look at it logically like that. So I think there's plenty of positives. As long as they win on Sunday, this game will be another stepping stone. The fitness levels, the 38 degrees, get all that rubbish out of them, start again, and I think they'll be fine.
I think pace is the key for United. I think they looked a completely different team when they got more legs, especially in the wide areas, getting up that support to Lukaku. They look a lot more dangerous and they created more. You know, you look at a player like Mkhitaryan, who's looking for them through balls. You need runners that are going to break the line. You can't just have Lukaku if you want Mkhitaryan to shine.
The only thing I've got a thought about again is I do not know what Manchester United's best team is. I look at other teams and I can go, right, their best 11 is this. When I look at United, I know the best 7. But there's 4 places I'm like, well, it could be him or him. It could be him or him. He disappoints at times, and Fellaini comes on and does well.
It's in those wide areas, isn't it? That's where the question mark remains. The Martials, the Matters, the Lingard.
I think you saw when Mkhitaryan came into midfield, into the centre of the pitch, he looked a lot better. He's one of them. He can dribble, he can take players on, he can play good passes into forwards. Out on the right hand side, I think he's wasted out. I think you need someone with real pace out there, and I think Martial could be the answer. Rashford, if he wants to play him out on the right hand side. But as Stevie said, I think United are a much bigger threat with pace in the team.
What about United at the back? Casemiro gave them a couple of warnings before his opening goal this evening. Defending was something that wasn't a big issue for them last season. It was scoring goals was more of the problem, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, when you come to thinking about your settled back four, as Mac has said, I don't think it is settled. I think Antonio is settled at right back without a shadow of a doubt. I think the other 3 could be up for grabs. Darmian, I like a left-footed left back. Obviously he's playing because he's a good defender. I suppose in the way Azpilicueta did it for Chelsea, for Mourinho with him, he played his best defender there. I think there's Bailey and Jones still to come into them centre-half positions, and I think Bailey's it's who plays with him. It's not knowing. I think you need to have a settled, really settled, definitely middle 2 anyway, if you're going to go on and win a league. So
it sounds a bit like all 3 of you are saying there are maybe 4 or 5 players that are guaranteed to start in this team, and you'd be looking at Pogba and Lukaku and Valencia and De Gea. But the rest of them, he's got sort of 14 or 15 players, all at a very similar level, not a standout starting 11.
Scholes said it early on, it's up to the younger players now to really grasp that position. It's up to Martial, who was very promising 2 years ago. It's up to Rashford, who comes on and for 20 minutes shows great cameo appearances and great energy. It's up to them now to say, right, this is my position now. I'm a certain starter every single week. Whether it's Mata, whether it's Herrera, whether it's Mkhitaryan, we've still got question marks about them. But, you know, Rashford has done himself a world of good tonight, hasn't he? I thought he changed it when he came on.
I think Jose's found his spine now. I think with the signings he's made, Manchester United, to me, look very, very strong down the middle. I'm not sure these players we're talking about in the wide areas, you know, the likes of your Lingards and your Marshalls, I'm not sure they've hit them heights yet where you can really describe them as Manchester United players.
So is it almost now or never for those players?
Well, I think it's a big season for them. I think if them individuals don't find consistency over the next 12 months, I don't think they'll be at United very long.
No matter how good you are, there's not much they could have done actually about the second goal, was there? It was pretty special.
Well, the second goal was a brilliant second goal, wasn't it? Really quick, really sharp, pacey, like we've talked about, and they were just ball-watching, all the Manchester United defenders. There's this goal, lovely 1-2 with Gareth Bale. Look how many red shirts are around the ball, but everybody was ball-watching. You stop it here, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Matic follows the ball, falls over slightly. If anything, Valencia needs to tuck in a little bit, but trying to play offside, and they just got cut open by nice quick passing, isn't it? Real quick stuff by Madrid.
I think also as well, you know, this is the problem you have when you try and create positions for players that are not natural defenders. Now, Valencia is a fantastic player. He's been one of United's most consistent players over the year, but against the top teams, you get found out. And you can see there quite clearly he's being done with the combination, but he's ball-watched. You can't do that against the best side. You've got to follow runners and close gaps, and he's being found out.
That's what happens when you have a right winger playing at right back. He's been a right winger. He was sensational at right back last year. I think he was player of the season. But at times in the big games against the best teams, you know, he does ball watch a little bit, and you do get a little bit far.
The best teams find out every little mistake. You can get away with it in the Premier League a lot of the times. You can get away with it in the Europa League, no disrespect to United, because they won it. But when you're up against the Barças, you know, the Bayerns, the Madrids, the Paris Saint-Germain, who have got that little bit extra up front, they will exploit every single weakness you've got. They will just keep on banging away, and then they'll break through in the end. And they've done it tonight, Madrid.
Talking about a little bit of extra up front, in the build-up we compared Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Romelu Lukaku, their stats from last season. They compare relatively favourably. He got on the score sheet tonight thanks to the shot that came in from Mata. What did you make of him generally?
I think he should have scored another goal tonight. Obviously, if he'd have got in the box in the first half when Herrera ran through, he might have got himself a tap-in. The one that come off the keeper, for me, he's got to score this chance. So, you know, he could have got himself a couple more goals tonight, but I think the big picture is he's definitely a positive sign, and he will make Manchester United stronger and make them challenge next season.
I think where he does have to improve is holding the ball up. I thought that when we signed him, is his touch good enough to, you know, to be a Man United centre-forward? Can he bring other players into play? I think he struggled a bit with that tonight. I thought they managed to do that when Fellaini came on, actually. They pumped the ball up to him, the ball was sticking a bit better. So maybe he needs a little bit of support with him. Because
interestingly, when Fellaini came on, you sat there and said, he's doing what Lukaku should be doing. Just explain what you meant by that.
Well, I think the way Manchester United play, they play compact, especially against the top sides. They like a low block. So to get the ball from back to front, you'd have to go long and direct at times. So it's important that Lukaku makes it stick. But if you've got players in the wide areas that are not really runners, it's very difficult to get support up there quickly. So there is going to be times he's going to be isolated. So bringing on Fellaini, he was making the ball stick, showing his experience and playing to his strengths, and that's maybe something where Lukaku needs to improve.
Like so many areas in this United team, though, he's a work in progress, isn't he?
Yeah, but there's only so long you can get to be a work in progress. You know, our big managers and our big teams are judged by what they do in 1 year. If you get off to an awful start and you've lost 5 or 6 games, your job's on the line. If you don't win anything this year or you have a bad season, you're out the following season. When you're in the big sides, we've got plenty of money to turn over your players. So we're going to judge Jose Mourinho, Lukaku, Pogba, because it's his second year, and the likes of Rashford, Martial. We're going to judge them on what they do this year. Last year was a work in progress, 2 trophies. They need to push on and get better this year.
Yeah, Mac is right. No, we talk about work in progress. These players can't be work in progress anymore. They have to produce now. No, you know, you're talking 2 years of players being work in progress. It can't go on. Rashford, Pogba, Martial, Lingard. They need to start producing now. They need to. If United are going to do what they say they're going to do, they're going to win the league. They've got to compete in the Champions League. These players need to chip in. They need to start scoring big goals at big time.
No more excuses.
No.
And no more missed chances. There was a few of those tonight, wasn't
But that's the same for every team in the Premier League, because they haven't done themselves justice in the Champions League. Certainly last year was abysmal, wasn't it? So that goes for everybody. It's not as if you're sort of picking on Manchester United. We're talking about United now, but it goes for Chelsea next year. The pressure's on them. City this year, next year in the all in the Champions League. They need to do what Madrid are doing and the Barca are doing and get into at least semis and make it consecutive years on the trot.
But it is just those fine margins, isn't it? Because there were those gilt-edged chances this evening. Rashford takes those, Pogba or Lukaku take this one, and so we're having a different conversation almost.
Yeah, we are. I mean, you know, games are about taking chances, but you look at the game as a whole on possession and the class. There's still a golfing class. If you think about United meeting these in the Champions League next year, you'd look at that game and think Madrid over 2 legs will beat Manchester United very, very comfortable. So there is still a few pieces of the jigsaw where United can improve. And that's also an opportunity for fringe players to become them players rather than them going into the transfer market.
And also, it's not as easy just to look at chances like that and think if they score, they would have been 2-2. Because Gareth Bale, it's the bar. Casemiro, it's the bar. So, you know, if they score, then it goes 3-0 up. So you can't rely on that. You just have to take your chances when they come and be more prolific, don't you? That's all it is. Whether you're 3-0 down, you just have to keep on taking your chances and it'll help you in the long course.
OK, interesting chat. I enjoyed that. Let's now hear, though, from the Manchester United manager. Des Kelly is with Jose Mourinho. Des.
Thank you. Jose, Real Madrid are the club to be measured by, European champions. How did you think you did tonight?
I think we did well. I think we lost 2-1, which shows the result was really short, and one of the goals was an offside. So with a good VAR, would be 1-1 and extra time. I think they could score more goals than they did. We could score more goals than we did. They had a period of dominancy in the middle of the first half. We had a period of dominancy in the middle of the second half, and some balance in the beginning of the game. And we were playing against a team full of fantastic players, and we discussed the result until almost the end. Not the end, but almost the end. And almost the end, because when Cristiano was coming, the referee decided to show the respect for this amazing player, and then game over, because every time Cristiano wanted was a free kick and the game was stopped. But we gave them a fight, we gave them a good fight, and my boys, they have only reasons to leave, okay, disappointing, because when you lose you are disappointing, but to leave optimistic, proud, and let's go for Sunday.
That's what pleased you most, the fighting spirit. Fellaini seemed to epitomise that, having a nasty head injury and then strapped up. He epitomised the fight United showed.
It's fantastic, and Marwan is just an example of that group, of that spirit we have. We were losing 2-0 against a fantastic team, and after 2-0, the next ball is a double chance with an open goal, amazing reaction. Then we go for the 2-1. Then Marwan is injured, but he keeps going. Then we miss the Rashford chance only with the keeper. We fought really until Cristiano got into the pitch, and that I have to say that I'm really happy, because we lost a game, we lost a cup, but we didn't lose the season. The season is here. The season started today, but our Premier League starts Sunday for us, and we are better now than we were last season when we won the Europa League.
One player that's been discussed in the build-up to the game, Real Madrid player, is Gareth Bale. His appearance in the Real Madrid side, does that change anything tonight?
I think so. I think clearly the club wants him, the manager wants him, and he wants the club. So for me, game over, even before it started. But game over clearly, because I think now everybody knows that he's going to stay.
You ready for the Premier League this weekend?
Yeah, we need and we deserve the rest tomorrow, and Thursday we will start. And we go for it with everything. I'm so happy to be the manager of these guys. I told them a few days ago that during my long career, I never had a group that I liked so much like I like them. I'm really happy to be with them, and I'm going to fight with them all the way. So let's go Sunday. Old Trafford waiting for us, and I think Old Trafford has a reason to be behind us.
Thank you, Jose.
Bye.
Very good. So there you go. Heard it from the horse's mouth. The pursuit for Gareth Bale is over. But it's clear that he still feels he needs something in that position, whether it's not going to be Bale, whether it's Perisic, whoever it is. He was going after him because he wanted something.
I think most teams would want Gareth Bale. He brings a real quality, doesn't he? He looks like he's given up hope there, and I think we all thought that it probably wouldn't happen anyway. Maybe it's not dead if Mbappe comes, and who knows? Somebody has to go, don't they? If Mbappe comes and you think, would they get rid of the two young players, in Asensio or Vazquez? Would they do that? I don't know.
Someone will come available if Mbappe joins Madrid. But the fact that he's been after Perisic widely, we know that he's been after Perisic. All right, Gareth's an afterthought. Yeah. But the fact that he's been after Perisic quite publicly suggests that he wants to play it. He's worried about that particular position, doesn't he? Of course it does.
Jose believes that the goal was offside, wouldn't have been given. He said if the VAR was in use, it would have been 1-1 in extra time. Steve also maintains that this was offside. Is this offside? Come on.
Well, I think
Look at that. You can't score with your arm.
Yeah, but you can score with your shoulder. So, in the rules, you could say there is an argument, so you can understand why he's upset. But, as a neutral watching this game, well, not a neutral, I wanted Madrid to win, but...
Of course you're not a neutral. You're the least neutral man in the world.
I was quite happy with the decision, but you can understand why Jose Mourinho is unhappy.
The only thing is, would VAR, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but would VAR have cancelled that goal out?
Probably not, would it? I think it's so marginal they would have stuck with the decision on the field, wouldn't they?
Well, I don't know.
You said it was offside.
It looked offside to me, regardless of anything, even though it's sort of inches.
Look, the most important thing here, Paul, you've sort of been through the ringer a bit watching Man United since you retired, sitting with us on BT Sport. Are they moving in the right direction? Do you look at that now and think they are a better team than the team that Jose took on?
Yes, definitely.
Good enough to challenge for the league?
Yeah, I think there's more pace. Look, I don't think the target for this year is going to be Real Madrid. They're too far away from it. The target this year has to be Chelsea. Well, they were the best team in the league by far last year. And United have to show that they can challenge. I think they've got the players too. But then players I mentioned before, they need to really produce and help Lukaku. I think, as Stevie said, the spine of the team looks really strong with Matic in there now. I think Bailey will be a big part. I think they've got the best keeper in the league. And they need to challenge for the league this year, and I think they will do.
And as all three of you have said, no excuses anymore for those players in the wide positions looking to get the goals. That's not it, of course, for the European football here on BT over the next few days. We've only just begun because there's still some playoffs, including Liverpool in Hoffenheim as well, and you can see Celtic are also taking on Astana. That's next Tuesday and next Wednesday, those two games. Right, Coutinho. If Barca come in for a player, how on earth do you keep them?
It's very, very difficult. You know, especially South American players who always go on record and say it's a dream of theirs to play for Barcelona. I've experienced it before as a player and as a fan with Mascherano, with Suarez, and it's a very, very difficult and tricky situation for the club to be in. The good thing from the Liverpool fans' point of view is the manager is desperate to keep hold of him and is trying everything to keep hold of him. The owners want him to stay. This is not a situation where Liverpool need money or need to cash in. We're not a selling club, so they're going to do everything in their powers for him to stay. But at the end of the day, it comes down to Philippe Coutinho and his decision and what he's prepared to do, what type of war he's going to create to get out, because Liverpool won't make it easy for him.
Yeah, I think he'll leave eventually, but I just don't think he'll leave this year. I just think there's an amicable way to go about and doing your business. And if a Real Madrid or Barcelona come in and want your players, and that's their dream to play, you'd almost say, you know what, not you're proud to let them go and play for them, because it's, with all respect, it's a step up going to these teams for the South Americans. It's just a way of doing it, and if he gives Liverpool another year and performs at his highest, then Barcelona will want him next year, because Iniesta's coming to the end of his career. So they'll want him next year regardless. He just has to do the business for Liverpool this year. They're in the Champions League. They need him this year. He's the star player. They need him to perform.
Quick as you can, is he playing for Liverpool or Barca at the end of August?
At the end of August, Liverpool.
Hopefully Barca.
I pray it's Liverpool.
I thought you might. Ground, but at the same time, it's going to be a proper test because Man City have invested, and quite rightly, there are many people's tip for the title this season.
Yeah, of course, you know, they've strengthened the game, spent big money in the full-back areas. They've also brought Bernardo in, who looks a player. So City are, you know, the favourites for the Premier League. I think everyone's tipping them to go and win it. And it is a massive test for Brighton. It's going to be a long 90 minutes for them players, and I think City will win.
I think it's good, though, isn't it, that they're hitting them first game of the season. Sometimes you get strange results get thrown up at the beginning of the season. I think if this was in, you know, November and City were up and running and heavily involved in the Champions League, I think they'd steamroll Brighton, but it's going to be nice and warm, first game of the season, party atmosphere.
Nice and warm.
No, but I think it's going to be one of those atmospheres.
That'll make all the difference.
No, but I think you do first game of the season when the sun's shining, there's a party atmosphere, and everybody's excited to play. I think this is their best chance of getting.
Yeah, but then what if
this
it's
is their best
4-0 to City at half-time? Then, then it's an horrendous start to life in the Premier League, and you've got to lift the players.
You're going to have to meet them sooner or later. I just think it's nice to hit the big teams, the favourites, early on in the season when everybody's just finding their feet.
What do you think?
Whether I'm right or wrong is another thing, but that's just how I feel.
As long as it's nice and sunny, though, that's the main.
Well, yeah, as long as it's nice and warm. So I've got my t-shirt on and my sunglasses.
I think City will be far too good. It's going to be a difficult year for Brighton. I don't think they've managed to sign many players. I just think opening day of the season, warm day. As Marcus said, I think City will fancy it even more than Brighton will, and I think that's too much for them.
I think we'd all agree with that, wouldn't we? All right, look, thank you very much for your company this evening, gentlemen.